So, good afternoon. How are y'all doing today? Don't know, can't tell what your response is, so I don't really care. But, let's get straight to it. My name's Keaton Casey, the one and only. Anyways, figured I'd start up a dang YouTube. Been a thought in my mind for like, I don't know, forever. What's the worst that could happen? Nobody watches it? I don't give a damn. That's your own problem. So, since this is the first video on my channel, I figured I'd do it with the first thing you do when you ride a horse, seeing as how I intend for my channel to be about horses, roping, and just training altogether, you know. I'm not a professional, but I picked some stuff up here and there. It's life. Anyway, this is my old nag, Honeybee. This is the biggest pain in the ass I ever met. Alright? That's all women for you. They got an attitude. And they got an attitude. But if you put up with their attitude, and they actually do right, these women will treat you right in horses and in life. So remember that. So, let's get started. So whenever saddling a horse, there's three main components: saddle pad, bridle. Don't know if I'm gonna show you putting the bridle on yet. Fuck, I will. Anyways, so starting off, this is a saddle blanket, also known as a Navajo. Depending on where you're from and how you were taught, depends on what you call it. There's more than one way to skin a cat, so I don't give a damn what you call it. I just call it blanket. Sometimes I call it a Navajo. Don't know why, but sometimes I do. I just call it a blanket. And if you're just daily riding, some kid at your grandma's house and she's got some dead broke horse, you're just gonna walk around, blanket's fine with the saddle. You ain't gonna do hard work. But this is my soon-to-be calf horse. We're in training. I hope I can bring y'all along in that process. I don't know how well it's gonna go, but we'll see. But since this is my calf horse in training, and I don't feel like spending $500 on an 1.5-inch saddle pad, I got a blanket to put under my pad. And this is the same principle as putting on a saddle pad. Put it over, make sure it's even, make sure it's lined up, ain't funky. And check your stuff before you put it on your horse. Make sure there's no stickers, burrs, or nothing stuck to this pad before you put it on there. Because once you put that saddle on and you sit on it, gets real irritating. This right here is blanket. Got a cutout for withers. Correction, this is a pad, not a blanket. That's the blanket. That's the blanket. This is a pad. I put this on top of the blanket. It's just, the blanket's for added protection, like shoulder pads in football, you know? It just helps reduce the impact, disperse the impact, I don't know. Figure it out on your own. But this right here is a cutout for withers. And then your horse's withers is right here. I don't know if you heard me or seen me, but figure it out. That's the horse's withers. Put that cutout on that wither. Make sure everything's aligned. Put where it's supposed to be. Check both sides. Make sure everything's good on both sides. That's the first rule of horsemanship and training horses. Whatever you do on one side, you gotta do on the other. Yeah, I'm doing this because I don't know. Talk with my hands. Get over it. Cut that shit out. Anyways, once you get your blanket and pad on, or just pad, or just blanket, whatever you're doing, whatever facet of riding you're doing, then you got your saddle. It's right here, the Western saddle, $500, Facebook Marketplace. If you're cheap, Facebook Marketplace is your friend. But anyways, toss your girths over, toss your stirrup over, get a good firm hold. Put one hand in the gullet, one hand behind the seat, throw it over. Don't really throw it over, set it on there gently. Don't let all your stuff flopper over and smack your horse. It just causes problems. Make sure everything sits right, make sure everything's even. You know, check both sides. What you do on one side, you gotta do on the other. When you're unhooking everything, it's also a good time to be inspecting all your equipment, making sure nothing's rotted or broken. Make sure everything's sitting even. And I skipped this part before, but you can see I got my pad hanging out about an inch further, or my blanket hanging out further about an inch further than this pad. You know, it's just like, it's just the way I was taught. If you have a blanket, make sure it sits out further than the pad, on the front and the back. Alright? And then a useful tip. Put your stirrup on the horn whenever you're doing your girth so it's out of your way. That wasn't the useful tip, this is. Whenever you finish riding, I take my girth and I take it and I push it back and up through that D-ring and then pull it down. And then if you want to be fancy, you swing it in front, back up to that D-ring, and back down that little loop. And you got your girth stored nice, it won't pull out on you anytime. But also, whenever you, if you just pull it to that back, whenever you do a front cinch, I don't even gotta undo my girth. Put it through, boom. Whenever you're first saddling a horse, you don't gotta cut them in half with it, alright? The way I was taught is horses hold air whenever you first saddle them. So you just put it on there enough so your saddle's not gonna fall. And so that way it ain't gonna go nowhere. If that horse gets loose, it's staying on top. Because then if it gets under the horse, that'll cause problems. I done had that happen once. ripped the whole leather of one of my saddles off, the stirrup leather. Pain in the ass to find someone who works on saddles nowadays. But anyway, depending on what kind of riding you're doing, that's all you need to do is that front cinch. And as long as you got that front one done, you're A-okay to ride. But due to the fact that I got this dang back cinch over here. And it's the same thing. I got it done the same way. Stick it through. You don't gotta cut your horse in half. Just enough so that way it ain't hanging in the way. Boom. Got my horse cinched up already. This is a breast collar. Honestly, don't know the point of a breast collar. I do to an extent. Helps with leverage on the saddle so it doesn't get moved around and all that stuff. I don't need one on her. I just put it on there because I like the way it looks. It's like one of them real buff dudes in a muscle and one of them wife beaters, muscle shirts. It just pops out their muscles. That's my principle behind the breast collar on this horse. And then, boom, horse is saddled, ready to ride. So, important tips. Just take your time. Make sure you got a horse you can actually saddle and do this with. You know, if you got some horse barely started, you might want to take a little bit more time and be a little bit more cautious than what I was. This horse is broke to me. It's broke enough for me. So, thank you for watching. JK. I said I'd show y'all how to put a bit in. That's a martingale. Look it up, or I'll show you in another video how to use it. So because I'm not 100% ready to ride, I'm going to just show you the basic principle. Whenever you put this leather part, this is a bridle. The metal part, this is a bit. These are your reins. Whenever you put a bit in the horse's mouth, especially starting out, put that bit in between your thumb and your pinky like that, and then just put it up in front of your horse like that, and then stick your thumb in the corner of this horse's mouth. They don't have teeth right there. You see how I did that? She starts licking. Then you just slide that bit in. That's all it is. Alright? Don't be jerking on it and pulling on it and messing up your horse, because then it's just going to cause problems in the future. That, how you saddle your horse. Don't mind all the other accessories hanging off the stirrups and stuff. We'll get to that in a later video. Enjoy your day.